It is Sunday. It is Sunday, and I am Emily Craig, and this is Shikaya, which is a channel devoted to ancient wisdom, brought up to date with ideology and behavior. And I have spent a great deal of my time on YouTube listening to the experts talk about narcissism. Okay, there's Dr. Ramani, there's Jordan Peterson, and there's Dr. Les Carter. And they deal with people struggling with the issue of behavioral bullying all the time. And I have a lot of experience with family bullying back and forth, going my whole life. And so this is a very important topic to me, because I've felt the effects of it for a long time. And I've also been accused of having too much certainty in my ideology, in the way I identify myself about behavior. I have been accused of being a narcissist a lot. And so I wanted to bring up some points. As you know, I dare to talk about concepts and beliefs that cross ideological lines, from Judaism to Christianity to Islam to Sikhism to agnosticism and atheism. I'm all over the place. And some people think that this is okay, and some people think that this is sacrilegious. Well, it's probably both. Okay, I will admit to that. I've had a great deal of difficulty fitting into any ideology, because what I have found is that it's ideology and the behaviors that arise out of the teachings of ideology that result in bullying. All right, when you belong, when you have an identity with a point of view, with the Bible, or with the position that no life has ever been proven to be anywhere but on this world, and so we cannot assume that there are any ETs or UFOs. Okay, I've run into that. Or the position of people who have no cosmic sense of connection anywhere, and who belittle paranormal abilities, who belittle the belief in God, who belittle the relationships that occur in church. Okay, I've run into that. And so for our three experts, Ramani, Peterson, and Carter, I've taken the time to remind them that the domination struggles going on with narcissism have everything to do with the bullying behavior that's taught in some ideologies. Now, I go into leftism a lot, okay, and I put up the bucket list for socialism time and time and time again. You know, it's the Fabians, the Frankfurt Group, Saul Alinsky, and the leftists who maintain, and their behavior bears out their teaching, that what they intend to do is tear down what civil order there is and replace it with something different. Okay, their behavior is bullying by the ideology, the identity, and the teachings. Okay, that's leftism, and that's where it's at. All right, and then I noticed that religious groups also adopt bullying. Okay, Islam has taqiyya, which is lying, jizya, which is protection tax racketeering, and jihad, which is dominate by divide and conquer. Okay, and it is a bullying society. All right, I notice among Christianity that the Christians who adopt Zionism as if Israel were Jewish Israel's only about 40% nominal Jewish. It's about 54% secular, occult, and Islamic. So Israel is not operating according to the norms of the Jewish faith, but the stated position of our political process is that if you protect Israel, you're protecting Judaism, which isn't true. All right. So the bullying comes from some religions, and passive behavior comes from other religions. Now, I'm not going to name off the sects, the groups, the orders, the communities, the communes that absolutely eschew and teach against any form of confrontation of corruption or evil, who shrink from it. They turn the other cheek, is their teaching. And so, in order to protect themselves, what they have available to them is the legal system, because they are completely non-aggressive, completely devoted to the behaviors of the peacemaking process. We know Quakers have been the negotiators in peace treaties and terrorist situations for decades. They and the Mennonites teach conflict resolution as part of their doctrine against bullying. All right, so to these therapists who are counseling people how to distance and push away and shun, basically, anyone in your family who adopts an ideology that you don't happen to prefer, this is tearing families apart. Disfellowshipping destroys families among Jehovah's Witnesses. The Mormons have the same practice. The Catholics have the same practice. Those who are deemed as being somehow teaching or doing something that is inimical to the doctrine and the dogma and hierarchy are kept from communion, or they're distanced completely. All right, these are very valid issues, but what isn't happening here at YouTube is that they're not being directly tied to the behavioral teachings of ideology, whether political ideology, leftism, religious ideology, the religions that are evangelical, the religions that are pushy, all right, versus the ones that are passive. And so it's helpful to understand how to disarm and disengage from a hostile member of the family who's hostile because they've adopted an ideology in which bullying is the taught behavior. That makes sense. But what is happening online and on the internet is that the social media are dividing. They've set up clear dividing lines between the left and the right, between the religious, they assume evangelical, versus the non-religious left. And the center people who endeavor to make peace and to bridge that gap between freedom of thought versus the necessity for responsible behavior and the lessening of the behavior of bullying for any reason, assault for any reason. Okay. The internet and the social media are making it harder because the centrists like PragerU and Stefan Molyneux and even Alex Jones, they're centrists who see both sides of the table, but the social media do not allow both sides of the table to come to the same table. They're keeping the parties apart. That's the divide and conquer mentality of the mainstream media, of social media and academia. Academia is committed to teaching chaos, problem, reaction, solution, and the globalism of the effete oligarchs who've been pushing this for 400 years, okay? We got to see the difference between ideologies, beliefs, and doctrines versus behavior. Does your ideology teach bullying? If it does, you're probably being accused of being a narcissist, okay? And so now I'm a charismatic, and so what that has meant for me is that I've had to back up and back up and back up and back up because my entire family has been atheist and agnostic until I can find a religious home where bullying is not taught. And then I have to learn how to deal with the bullying of the people who are afraid of religion. Okay, they're afraid of religion, and now the people on the left are afraid of religion. They're afraid of those of us who insist that taking responsibility for your behavior is the correct and godly thing to do. All right? So this fight is only getting started. And narcissism is not just about psychological aspects of behavior. It's not just about psychiatry. It's not just about who needs to be on mood-altering drugs. It's about which ideologies and identities teach bullying as part of their doctrinal menu. All right? I want you to think about that. And write some comments for me down below, and subscribe if you want to, and click on the bell. And let's get down to facts that bullying is the behavior that we're dealing with, and it comes from ideologies. Some ideologies yes, some ideologies no, and bullying is the behavior we have to confront and effectively disarm if we're going to return the United States of America and the UK and Australia and New Zealand and Canada to a system of impartial civil behavior based on the common laws of the land and not on the commercial treaties in which no human being is anything but a consumable product. Our legalist system has allowed bullying to occur in the commercial domain, as you know if you're on social media, and we the people have almost no defense against these corporate CEOs with billions in their pockets who can buy any legislator and who have charitable foundations to pay people to protest and to pay legislators and pay jurists to follow certain bullying doctrines. See what I'm saying? The difference between ideology and behavior is where the crux of this matter is, and that's not being talked about. So let's talk about it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.